What's going on, guys? New topic. This comes from Fizzer Gamer. He says, "Yo, Ryan, my man, here's another lovely topic for Ryan on Gaming." He says, "Are video games the best storytelling medium? Games like The Last of Us, some say, are better than most movies they've watched," which I agree. What is your opinion? This is actually a very old topic, by the way. I believe this one's like over a year old. I don't know why, but whenever I clicked this one, I was just like, I'll do this another time. I think it's fine. I think it's time I finally do this one, especially since it was a good topic. So Fizzer Gamer, here's what the answer finally is. So, okay, so this is like it's one of those things where, so for me personally, yes, I feel they're the best storytelling medium, but objectively speaking, I have to say no, they're not the best storytelling medium. So objectively speaking, it's almost kind of like a numbers game, I guess. I mean, video games as a whole, like video games as an entertainment medium, is still a relatively new thing. I mean, even, yes, if you can date as far back to the first video games, it's still a new medium. I mean, books, movies, music and whatever, all those entertainment mediums have been around for much longer than video games. You also got to keep in mind that the first few video games that were ever created were not telling stories. They were fucking bleeps and bloops and hardly anything. You could barely make out what the fuck they were on the screen, you know? So the earliest video games weren't telling stories. So games that were actually trying to tell legitimate stories is a very, very new, very recent thing. So, you know, you got to figure, mediums like movies and books, I mean, they've been telling stories for a very long time. The authors and everything. I mean, it's just like, it's the, movie directors, like those mediums are just very mature, and it's just kind of a numbers thing, basically. They've been around longer, and there's much more movies. There's much more books. They're the best. They're like, I'm not gonna say which is better, like books or movies or something, but like absolutely, like those mediums beat video games as like easily, but that's just like kind of the objective way to look at it, or at the very least the most fair way to look at it. But you're kind of asking, what is like the best storytelling medium, like certainly the possibility of what could be the best medium to tell a story, I guess. You're saying what's like maybe the best platform to tell a story, and that's where like the more personal side of me comes in, where it's like I think video games are, and the reason for video games is that they're interactable, for one. The thing that makes me say yes to them being the best storytelling medium for a personal answer is that when you play a game, you're making those decisions, you have all the control, basically. You're doing everything, you're making everything happen in the game, and you have a much more close bond with, say, the characters in a particular story in a video game. So yeah, Last of Us is a fantastic example, because that's the kind of game where like there's certain moments in that game, certain choices that you have to make, because it's a linear story. There's no choices really in that game. Everybody gets to the same ending in that game. But when you go through it, it's one of those things where, because it's linear, it makes people feel a little bit uneasy, because they have to do the things in that game, and the game is telling them, hey, this is the story, you have to do this. And so it makes people feel really uncomfortable sometimes, or some people are like, wow, that was really powerful, I can't believe I did that. When you have that sort of level of emotion from a medium, that's where I feel like absolutely, like that's how storytelling should be. Not only are you enjoying a fantastic story, but you're living it, you're experiencing it, you're very much so in that moment, just like the characters are. And that's what video games can offer, especially, of course, like The Last of Us. It's a modern game, it looks good. Writing in games has matured over the years. I mean, nowadays you've got really quality writers on games. You've got big voice actors being in these games. Major actors doing mocap and everything. I mean, they're becoming very big deals, these big AAA games. But even smaller games, even the small indie stuff have really good writing too. It's just like, because you're in there, because you're in that moment, because you're experiencing it yourself and you're making the decisions, it's much more impactful to me. And games are typically much longer than, say, a movie. A book is certainly debatable. Books can take a decent amount of time to finish. But, yeah, I mean, they're much longer than movies, too. So when you're playing a game, again, Last of Us is a great example. I mean, Last of Us is a very long game. I mean, it's definitely going to take you longer than 10 hours to finish that game. So you're spending a lot of time with those characters, too, which gives the game a lot of time to develop its characters, which is a very important thing in storytelling. Developing your characters and making you give a shit about what's actually happening in the story. So, you know, that's why I feel absolutely like games are the best storytelling medium. It's just, again, objectively, games aren't there just yet because they're just so new still, and there's not that many good examples of games with amazing storytelling that beats, say, some of the greatest movies and books that are out there. But it's also very fair for me to say, like, games have the possibility to be the best storytelling medium. Let's say 30, 40 years down the line, games are still kicking strong. People are, games are still like a big industry. It's neither here nor there if you want to discuss how the gaming industry is going to look in, say, 30, 40 years, but it'll absolutely still be around. Games will still be a thing, and in that time, like, I think it'll get to a point where, like, yeah, it probably absolutely could be the best storytelling medium, because it'll be there'll be all that experience out there. There'll be a lot of quality things out there that you can play and that can vouch for the idea where it's like best storytelling platform is games, because it's just so much more impactful for the actual person consuming the content. Fizzer Gamer, thank you for submitting that topic over like a year ago. As I've mentioned a few times, people, if you submit topics, I screen cap them on my computer, I just shove them in a folder, and whenever I feel like doing some Ride on Gamings, I open that folder, I click through some topics, and the ones I feel like doing for that day, I just end up recording them. So yeah, it's actually like a situation where basically I'm a little bit lazy. Sorry. But yeah, so if you submit a topic and, you're wondering what's going on, why haven't I done it, even if I replied to your comment and I said, oh yeah, it's a good topic, that's why. So be a little bit patient, and who knows, in 10 years, maybe I'll do your topic. But thank you everybody for watching, and then again, keep submitting topics, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take it easy.